It's time for Sunrise with the Sleepy Boys.
All right. How do we want to start this one?
I don't.
There's so many ways to get in. This being the massive smash hit that it was. It was only supposed to have a limited run here in the States, and then ended up getting practically a full theatrical release. For an
What was it, 2 months?
Kept extending. Yeah, they kept extending it. The runtime and everything, and I have the numbers here. Now, granted, this is from Wikipedia, so take it with a grain of salt. But it's at least based off of some numbers. It may be higher, it may be a little lower, but the projected budget for this movie was anywhere from $10 to $12 million.
No, that's correct.
The box office made $115.8 million.
Fucking hell.
So this movie was a massive success. I think this is the most successful. This is by far the most successful Godzilla movie from Japan in the States. So I went and saw this opening weekend when it first came out. Y'all both just watched it, correct?
Yeah.
So when y'all watched it, did you watch it? Did y'all watch the English dub?
Yes.
I didn't.
You didn't?
Mm-mm.
Oh, nice. All right. So where did you watch yours?
Netflix.
So they have both on Netflix.
Yeah, they have both as an option.
Well,
Nice.
because a lot of the times, I guess now it's updated. If a foreign film gets released in the States, they automatically put it on English dub, I guess.
Okay.
I switched it over to the Japanese dub.
Nice.
I did not.
I watched the movie. I've seen this movie twice, and I've seen it both times were in the Japanese. I saw the first way that it came out, and then I saw it in black and white.
Yeah, that's what I hate though, is that Netflix didn't bring over the black and white one.
Well, I mean, they're trying to figure out distribution right now to figure out how they're gonna release that, because
Sure.
Blu-ray's not available here in the States yet.
Right.
So I think they might be waiting to do that, or who knows? They'd be real smart. I mean, they could just put it on another streaming service as the black and white.
And that'd be really cool too. I mean, also Netflix could just put both versions up anyway.
They could. So I haven't watched the English dub yet. But from the clips that I saw, I was kind of digging it.
I had a hard time going through it with the English dub.
Oh, really?
Not like, obviously, like hearing it in English was way easier than trying to listen to the Japanese while I'm trying to read, because I don't do both at the same time very good.
You don't do a lot of things at the same time very good.
I don't do a lot of things solo very good.
That was a really weird way of saying that.
Yeah. My brain.
I don't do many things good.
Yeah. Yeah, no, the English dub, it didn't, like, a lot of the voices didn't quite fit the character that they were portraying. So it felt a little janky.
Okay. I'll have to watch it and give you my honest opinion.
Yeah.
But all right, so I have a lot to say. I have a lot to say about this movie. I love this movie so very much. So where do y'all want to start? Do we want to just start from kind of the beginning?
I was gonna say, like, to make a point, like how 54 is, again, like, was it nearly 10 years after Hiroshima? Godzilla just starts -1 starts like days after World War II and just ramps up.
Not even
during the end of World War II.
It's during, because
well, I say the end. It just when the title card came up, it was like in the near, was it the final days ending World War II or something like that?
Yeah,
That's
like
what the title card is.
Something like that, because I mean, you've got Kyochi, who's a kamikaze pilot and is ridiculed.
Those don't typically live very long,
which we hear constantly in the movie. By the time we see Godzilla as his dinosaur counterpart and on Odo, World War II is still going on.
Right. And I do want to say, I want to say that of the Godzilla films I've seen already, this one was the quickest to have Godzilla on screen.
Oh, yes. By far.
And I actually
no time.
I actually do have a lot to say about this particular opener for the film, because we'll get into that. This is my autism, so. All right, so
fun way to put it.
Yeah, so the film opens up. End of World War II.
You've got Kyochi flying in his kamikaze plane to land on Odo, and the tension immediately. That they do such a good job of immediately setting up that there's something wrong, and just the tension and the judgment that Kyochi has. Just like, oh no, engine troubles. I had to come back in. It's crazy. I don't know what happened.
Yeah, thing's fucked. I can't do it. I can't do it.
I can't fly this thing. You can't expect me to.
I can't fucking. What am I supposed to do? Just crash the plane? Oh, it's dark. Don't keep that. Don't keep.
It's dark. It's dark. I like it though. Keep it. It's what
you keep my honor to my family. Just crash this plane. No, I'm not doing it.
Dishonoring your family, dishonoring your cow.
No, guys, you don't understand. You don't understand. Before I left for work today, my wife said, "Don't you get one scratch on that airplane, Koichi, or I will be so upset. I can't. What am I supposed to do?"
But immediately, just he is a broken, shaken man, and. Immediately things start going bad as soon as sundown hits. Like, oh man, that scene introducing Godzilla, and once again, like I was saying when we were watching the 1954 Godzilla, the footsteps, the music just build up the foreboding, the impending doom that is coming, and I loved so very much the nastiness of like them responding to like Godzilla being this creature with horrid breath as he's like roaring and killing these soldiers that are on this island, and it's so very cool, and this does pull from the Godzilla all monsters out attack, the King Ghidorah, Mothra, Rodan.
Holy shit,
crazy
dude.
Long. They pull reference from that when they are on the island and you see a dinosaur Godzilla.
Right.
Oh,
and he's
okay.
small. So this isn't the first time we've seen Godzilla like this.
What was it? It was just called Godzilla.
Really close. Yeah. Like really close to a dinosaur. Okay.
Yeah. Well, again, this is one of my this scene was probably what sold me on the whole film, because it played out very much like a scene in Jurassic Park would.
Mm-hmm.
So, especially the first time I saw Godzilla swoop down and pick somebody up and throw them, I was like, first of all, he is tiny.
Yeah,
like that is a T-Rex sized Godzilla, maybe a little bit bigger.
He's a little bit bigger than. I mean, he's bigger than the T-Rex from Jurassic Park.
Yeah, okay, yeah, maybe a bit bigger. But my point is it doesn't play out like a Godzilla film. In most Godzilla films, Godzilla is not taking things personally. He is not reacting to the things that are happening around him for the most part. If he does, it's on a large scale. Like he's destroying city blocks, not going for one specific person. Whereas in this one,
very pointed.
It was very close. It it pulled you into the action rather than showing it from a distance. And I was sold. I cried.
Also, with him not being able to shoot at Godzilla, even just his panic, just gripping him so deeply, and them being the only two guys who live, and him just being furious at him for not being able. His name's Tachibana. Yeah. His commanding officer, I guess, right?
No. So he was
not. He's just the captain of the engineering.
He was with the engineering team. Yeah.
Who takes no shit.
Oh yeah. Well, he's
just going based off of that, like him knowing, like, oh, hey, you're a disgrace and a disappointment because you couldn't follow your duty to your country for being a kamikaze pilot, and you just being a coward, and then now, like, I'm blaming you for my team being killed.
Everything is your fault. Godzilla eating all of us is your fault.
Yeah. And the fucked up thing is, Godzilla didn't eat any of them. He just flung their bodies around. They're dead for sure, but it wasn't like
he didn't devour anybody,
right?
But he did bite some people.
He did. And honestly,
which is crazy to see Godzilla do just bite somebody like that. I was like, oh,
well, it was very reminiscent of the first Jurassic World movie when the Indominus Rex eats the first person when it breaks out of the pen, because up to that point we'd only seen little flashes, but this time, like, we saw up close on how Godzilla, bites down on things, aside from the really far zoomed out shots of him picking up trains like a dog.
Right.
And then he goes home.
And then he goes home to a very destroyed neighborhood just from all the fire bombings that are happening.
Everybody he knew and loved were dead.
His parents, they're dead.
They're dead.
Except his super sassy neighbor, who I absolutely love in this movie.
Sumiko sold the film.
Sumiko is my favorite character in this goddamn movie. Other than the other scientist. I'm trying to remember his name. Was it Kinji? Noda. Yeah.
Yeah, Noda.
Sumiko and Noda are my two favorite characters in this entire movie.
Yeah.
And then, again, like him going home, that's still people just looking down on him. Like the neighbor, of course. It's like,
mostly
Sumiko. Mostly the neighbor's like, oh wait, you're here. Like, you're not supposed to be here.
Straight up, like, your parents are dead and you're alive. That's a shame.
Yeah, like, my kids are dead because of you.
Yeah, holy fuck.
Yeah, that I don't care who you are. Getting told that, that's hard to come back from.
Oh yeah.
I mean, but it speaks to just, I mean, we really get wrapped up in our side of what the war looked like.
For sure. And
the amount of honor that was put on those kamikaze pilots for their sacrifice, it's crazy. So to see the dishonor of coming back and not fulfilling your duty.
Right.
Well, it's also too with him, like, he's still human, and again, like, going off of what Brandon said, not seeing the other side of it, a lot of those people didn't see the necessary for them to actually be kamikazes in a war like that. Like, there was other means of attacking your enemies rather than just being cannon fodder.
Yeah. And, like, the thing that the issue is most of the people that were getting onto him for it are people that didn't experience the war.
Right. Well, they didn't experience it.
Sorry,
but
you're right.
They were being the thing is, we get really wrapped up in the nuclear attacks on Hiroshima and Nagasaki.
Right.
But those were not the most, like, that was an insane show of force.
Right.
But the fire bombings that were happening long before that ever happened did far more damage. Like, and they were just like firebomb. They didn't care. They just would attack civilians, whole areas. Everything was fair game, and everything was made out of paper and wood. So everything burns.
Mm.
So, like it was far more devastating leading up, and then the atomic bomb the two bombs get dropped, and then it's like, well, shit, we have no other. We can't come back from. We have to stop.
Right.
Even though there's already military forces just insisting on well, we put all this money into the big bomb, and I want to drop it. So
yeah.
But anyways,
fun. Good times.
Fun stuff. It's stuff you got to talk about when you're talking about Godzilla.
Yeah.
I so much love the set design for this movie. They did such a very good job with the practical, as much practical stuff as they could. There's still a decent amount, like all the background stuff, like all the sky and everything, I think was pretty much green screened.
Well, it had to be, because the like skyline is completely different now than from what it would have been.
Yeah. But so it's not long after we get introduced to the next person, Noriko.
The next person, indeed.
The next person. the quote unquote love interest of this movie.
Look, I'm just gonna say it. I'm so glad that they didn't lean so heavily into the love interest thing.
I also was so happy about how they did it. So Noriko is in, like, he's
she.
No, I was gonna say Kyochi is in the marketplace, going about getting food, resources and stuff for his home that he's trying to rebuild.
Right.
And that's when he runs into Noriko and a little girl who she's caught stealing, and then just leaves the baby with him. And he's like, oh no.
I've got to say, she handed that baby off like a quarterback handing off a ball to a running back.
Yeah.
And then booked it.
Heads up, and then is gone. And he just sits there for hours looking around and just like, oh no.
Finally, he's like, what the fuck do I do? So, like, he gets up and he's gonna leave.
But he keeps the baby. He doesn't leave the baby, and that's the thing that I love about Noriko. She's like,
oh fuck,
you didn't leave the baby. Wow, you're a different kind of guy. What's your story? And that whole,
hey yo, where your girlfriend is?
Hey.
Well, it also, like, it's a real nice detail of him
giving a shit.
I guess, giving a shit, and also like, hey, I want to live, kind of thing. So it's like, if I want to live, I shouldn't abandon this baby.
It's deeper than that too. There is this through line of this movie that we'll get deeper into it as things happen, but it's really focusing on the value of life and what it means to be human, and like not taking away from the sacrifices that we have to make, but then also being able to say, like, sacrifices and honor are one thing, but a life is a life. And like, I love that through line of the human story of this movie. You have all these broken people from different backgrounds, these ragtag fishermen and naval techs and weapon manufacturers, all just struggling to just rebuild, and then also face this insurmountable force of a giant lizard.
With all their allies as well have just given up.
Yeah, well, and I really like that this movie does a decent job of jumping in kind of where the Legendary movies were going about, where the nuclear tests and the Bikini Atoll didn't create Godzilla, but woke him up.
Right.
In the Legendary stuff. This, however, we're going with the original. Like, we're going deep, like the established lore of Godzilla. He was a creature, a prehistoric creature that somehow is still around, that then the nuclear attacks mutated him, and he got big. Big and bad. And I love that they show it, too. There's those crazy flashes of him under the water being exposed to the radiation from the Bikini Atoll tests. And just, like, you see his, like, cells just start growing and expanding.
So, going back to what you were saying about it starting off as a creature and mutating.
Yes.
I don't know if you noticed it or not. It may have just been me, but that version of Godzilla, that unirradiated version,
irradiated,
the basic form before it evolved.
Sure.
The movements, like the way it moved around, was a lot more like the TriStar version of Godzilla. It was more like a theropod dinosaur. It moved like a T-Rex.
Absolutely, yes.
And I think that was a beautiful decision for them to make, because as you've compared this to the original, that dinosaur was just a lumbering oaf, because that's what T-Rexes were looked at back then.
Sure.
Anyway, yeah, big guy gets bigger.
Yeah, big guy does get bigger.
End of thought.
Have y'all looked at the scene, how Godzilla looked, and the other movie I was talking about?
Where it shows the flashback?
Island one?
The one with Mothra, Ghidorah.
Bless
Rodan.
You. Bless you.
Thank you.
Hold up.
The all monster out attack one?
Yeah.
Is that one? Okay. No.
I mean, look at him.
Okay.
In there.
Which they kind of call him Godzillasaurus.
Oh yeah, no, that is canon to what his name is.
Yeah.
Which I love. It's adorable. Big ass, derpy ass looking ass.
Yeah, he's just a thick dinosaur, you know.
He's just a thick bitch whose toes don't touch the ground.
It's true. And then it quickly changes, like it's changed in the movie. So I love this look of Godzilla and Godzilla -1, because it's very much that I really like the classic look, except I love what they did with like the legs, keeping it more dinosaur-y, kind of the
bird hips.
Yeah, bird hips.
The hips.
It's the bird hips, but then it's also more of the split, the feet, the angle. I don't know, like
the bird hips. That's the proper term for it. It's where their legs align forward and they have displayed toes for balance.
Oh, interesting. I didn't realize that.
Like I'll pull it up on the wikis and.
No, I believe you.
Bird.
But I love that, you know, when you're looking at Godzilla's head, it's very much like your traditional kind of, you know, millennium version of Godzilla. And then you get the bird hips.
He's got the big fucking birthing hips too.
He does.
This might be the thickest bitch we've had aside from the Legendary.
I don't. Oh man, I do forget how thick the Legendary one is.
Well, especially the 2014 version.
Well, also, that one was just kind of thick in general because he was more of an iguana. but
The
talking
Legendary?
about it, yeah, the Legendary.
Wait, Legendary
They-
went with the
they-
iguana bit too?
Yeah, they made him more iguana-like
Oh.
in the Legendary movies. The Shin Godzilla also got some thick ass hips.
I don't-
Jesus.
I don't like the Shin
Yeah, it's not-
Godzilla design.
We're
Well,
gonna disagree. We're gonna disagree.
yeah.
on that. I'm
That's
okay with
fine. Dude, you know what? Another one I'm gonna just say I don't like already is the design for Godzilla from Singular Point.
it. Which
It's the
he's way too
I've
disproportionate.
autistic deep dived already here.
I don't. Look,
he's too disproportionate.
I also look.
For
Here's the
me.
thing. I also agree with you. I forgot that's what they called that one. I also don't like that Godzilla design at all. I
like the concept of what they're doing with him.
I love the concept. It's great. I hate his jaw looks
The jaw,
unhinged.
it doesn't look like it's his jaw.
Yeah.
Anyway, we've gotten off topic. We're ripping on a series that's
We'll
decades
get to
from.
it.
Yeah, we'll get around to it eventually.
But so anyways, all right. So we have the moment where the nuclear tests are happening and we see Godzilla start evolving and becoming Godzilla.
Right.
But we don't see it all just yet. And one of the things that I absolutely love that this movie does is, so with the first movie, you see like the methane gas bubbles come up from him leaving the deep sea, you know, and stuff comes up with him. I love that they doubled down and they're like, what the fuck is with all these prehistoric fish that are coming out of water? Every time he's nearby, they're like, all these fish are just being forced to the surface.
Yeah.
What the fuck is happening? And it's such such a cool foreboding, just kind of
Danger
kinda
is
showing-
like ahead.
It's a cool way of showing that Godzilla, a creature of nature, is now outside of. He's no longer a force of. He's still a force of nature, but now he's a creation of man, and you're starting to see what happens when that gets corrupted, and it's like it's affecting the ecosystem around him.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I love it. All right, so we got to talk about probably one of the. I think it's probably one of the coolest jobs to blow off steam, and that is the fact that they Kyoshi goes to look for work to blow up mines in the ocean from World War II.
I love the just the lead up to where him finally going to work and he's
Oh man,
so
I'm gonna
excited
go work.
he can.
I'm
Yeah, I
back
finally
working
found a
for the
job.
government. I found a government project, and there's a
It's
lot
gonna
of
be
money in
safe.
it.
A vessel. He gets there and it's a wooden boat.
Oh, wouldn't
So
just
disappointed.
But like, okay, hold on.
then it totally makes sense. And they're like,
It does
well,
make
the
sense.
mines are magnetic, so if we have a giant metal ship, we're screwed.
Yeah, we won't come back at all.
Here's something else.
It'd be your first and last day at the same time.
Here's something else that was really funny because of the time difference and stuff. When he said he was signing up for this job, there was a 3,000 yen sign up for it, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's like $19.
A day, or
No, that's his sign-on bonus.
oh,
Let's
yeah,
sign on.
Now, given adjusted for inflation, it's still only like $250 total that he's being given as a sign-on bonus. You know, for a job where you're gonna blow up mines and potentially die.
yeah. I mean, it's dangerous work for sure. There's no kidding around with that. But he goes out, start integrating himself back in society. But now he's got this little makeshift family that he's kind of found with Noriko and
Akiko.
Akiko.
Mm-hmm.
Akiko is so cute. Oh my lord. So adorable. That kid did such a good job. I mean, good lord.
He really did.
But and this Noriko is so amazing, like a truly amazing woman. And he's so distracted. I mean, he's rightfully distracted from his guilt, and his shame. But he's got this person that doesn't care about his past and just wants him to just be able to leave the war, move on. There you have, whether you want to admit it or not, you have this family that relies on you and cares about you. And, which is why it just leads him to taking this job. And I love his crewmates. We meet Noda here. Mm-hmm. Then we've also, what's his name?
Captain Akatsu.
Captain Akatsu.
Captain Akatsu.
I know. I was thinking you didn't say captain. He's
I'm trying. And the other one is Shiro Mizushima.
All of them, but him are veterans of the war.
They've all survived the war.
Except the kid, which the kid is angry.
That's what I said, except for one.
The kid's upset that he didn't get to see war, and they're like, be happy that you didn't see war. And even Kyoichi trying to, convince him, you don't understand.
Dude, you have no fucking clue.
Going back on what you said, Brandon, about the movie showing the values of how life is precious kind of thing.
Yeah.
All of them have been to war, be glad you had it. We understand you want to serve your country, and
there are better ways of doing it than getting yourself killed.
There are better ways of doing it, yeah.
I will say, one of the things that I'm worried about watching the American dub is I love Akitsu's actor, his voice so much. Just watching him and just how he has so much soul to his acting. I'm just like, I swear to God, if you fuck this up in the American dub, I'm gonna lose my shit on you.
I will say, I think his voice actor did a phenomenal job.
Okay,
he sounded almost like Job from Arrested Development.
Okay,
and I felt like that was fitting for the character.
Okay, I'll have to give it a whirl.
Also, incidentally, speaking of the actors within the film, the actor that played the kid was actually one of the Japanese Power Rangers for a while.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, he was in I think it was our 30th anniversary series. So it was.
Now, Mark, later when you cut this out, put this in our Power Rangers.
Okay, I'll make sure. Yeah, I'll put it in the Power Rangers video. I'm gonna go on a 20-minute side tangent here.
I'm just joking.
So something I very quickly pointed out was, with all this money that Shikishima is bringing in now, one of the first things he does is goes out and buys a motorcycle.
Mm-hmm. And it's a glorious motorcycle.
What a fucking man thing to do.
Hey man, that guy's been through shit.
Look, I'm not discrediting anything that he's been through, but
he needs a toy.
Also, he rolls up with no helmet on. You okay?
Yeah, I'm fine. I just hit my mic.
You Hank Hilled for a second there.
Oh.
But then, he takes the money that he's earning and fixes the house.
Yeah, absolutely.
Over the course of the few years that they're doing this, he's, fixing the house.
Come on. He likes to have fun, but he's still responsible. He got bills. He got a mortgage.
Yeah. Do they have mortgages, do you think?
All right, where do we leave off?
We talked about it getting a sick-ass motorcycle.
He got a pretty sweet motorcycle. He fixed up his house. And now he's going to break her heart by saying, that baby ain't mine and that woman ain't my wife. In front of all of his work buddies.
At his house. He invited all these people over and he's being a real dick.
Man, you're so lucky to have such a nice, caring, compassionate wife. Yeah, right. She's not my wife, dude.
Right.
Good, gross. Can you even imagine? Well, where'd the baby come from?
I get it. I get it. Like, maybe it is the traditional thing there, but it's like they're there to live in the house. They're living their life.
Yeah.
They're trying to get everything back in order. And they're judging them like, you haven't wifed her up yet?
I don't think it.
Yeah.
Piece of are you?
What's wrong with you, man? Why haven't you?
Yeah.
Hey yo, you ain't married. Where that baby
busted him so hard, and he was not having it.
Hey yo, where that
Dude,
baby
they were
done
not.
come from?
And then just when everything, he's trying to figure out if he's gonna get off the pot or shit. She goes into the city to get a new job.
And guess who shows up?
And guess who shows up?
With his own sick-ass background music.
Also, I should say, we have seen Godzilla before this. Because we didn't mention the fact that Godzilla has been given the good old folks there on the mine sweep.
They've been terrorizing.
Good old run for their money, just showing up big orange beady eyes.
He just, God, like, I gotta be honest with you, this movie very much played on my fear of the open ocean. Like, more so than the last one did.
Good job.
They did.
Oh, I mean, there's everything about it. There's, like I mentioned earlier, the fact that you have these prehistoric deep sea fish that nobody's ever seen before.
And they're just there.
You're just playing up on the fear of just how little we know. And then on top of that, you're in a dinghy. And that thing is just like, so I'm going to eat you.
Well,
what?
Like,
and also, too, the, what's his name? Koshi? Like, they're all like, oh, what are we doing here? Because the first time they seen him on the little dinghy, it's like, this ship is here. Why don't the Japanese military come and get it? And they find out, like, oh, we're a distraction?
Yeah, that's it.
And then they're like, oh, wait, Oda had a prehistoric creature attack them? I thought it was, it was attacked by...
we thought it was the Americans.
The U.S. forces, yeah. And they're like, no, that was like a common ground. Like, no one wants to touch that kind of thing.
Yeah, well, like, that's the whole setup for this is, like, they're just people that hunt mines. And the government's basically telling them, hey, guess what? You get to be a hero for your country again. While we wait for this big ass like battle cruiser from Singapore, and
Takio.
Yeah, the Takio. And I gotta be honest with you, at this point, Shigeshima has to have the worst survivor's guilt.
Oh my god, no fucking joke.
Like this guy, ran out on his duties. He abandoned his post, which
duty.
Fuck off.
He pretty much went AWOL.
He did.
He went AWOL. Which means that that everybody he trained with at Kamikaze School, that feels weird to say, are all dead.
Proper term, by the way.
Yeah.
Man, let me tell you something though. You don't have to worry about class reunions with that one.
Oh god damn it.
And then he comes home and then he comes home, then on that island he watches all those dudes get slaughtered.
Mm-hmm.
Then he comes home and finds out.
Also cool that they kept it on Odo.
Yeah, I do appreciate that it was stayed on Odo. Then he gets home and his whole neighborhood's been fucking blown up.
His parents are dead.
Yep. That lady's kids are dead. And then he watches the sister ship for the boat he is currently on get destroyed by Godzilla.
Yeah.
And then blow up a fucking battle cruiser full of people.
And like it was nothing.
Yeah, like the best fucking freight. What was it? The damn ship that army can have. That's
oh yeah.
Seconds.
Oh man.
The best battle fleet.
And what's his name? Akiko?
Akiko's the baby.
You're right, not the baby.
Akitsu.
I closed my window so I could look at your dumb fuck screen, and I don't have anyone's names in front of me.
God damn it.
Fucking amateur hour.
Oh, you want names? Names is here.
Names is here. It's all here.
There you go. Oh, that's music. There you
Yoji.
Mm-hmm.
Akitsu.
Yeah, Akitsu.
Yeah. And he's all super proud, seeing him like, oh, now we got the big ship coming in.
And dude, in all fairness, they do blow the fuck. They do blow the fuck out of Godzilla for a second.
They do. And there's that that scene where you're just like, there's no way. That's not how this movie ends.
And then they're like, oh my god, did he just heal?
Also, that's like
they blew a fucking hole in the side of his face, and then they're like, well, he just brushed it off. We're fucked.
Did he open his eyes and look at the camera and wink?
Why did he lick his lips?
I will say one thing that I do love about this version of Godzilla is the original Godzilla, when he was rampaging, it was all very nondescript. He wasn't going after specific people. He was just kind of making a path for himself.
These are in my way. Yeah.
Aside from
saw there's a large group of people over there, and I'm gonna crush
this
them
one.
like an anthill.
This one was a hunter. This was not a force of nature. This was a hunter that was chasing down like its next victim, and I think that is.
I think it's because he's still like, even with all the mutations and everything that's happened,
he's still growing.
An animal.
Yeah.
He still has those memories of going after people on Odo and whomever he ended up other times that Godzilla attacked.
Well,
that is still very much in its brain.
Well, he popped up on out the water and saw the little wooden boat, and he's like, "Oh my god!" From Oda, right?
I'm famished. I need.
You know, the last time I saw you, I was killing all of your friends, right? That's how I know you, right? Oh my god, this is small ocean, man. Small ocean.
Fucking Family Guy write this? Jesus Christ.
Go fuck yourself. You were laughing.
No, but so then, all of a sudden we get, we have the encounter on the boat, and, what's her, Noriko, goes to the, starts looking for a job in the big city.
In a big city.
In the big city.
What was the name of the city again?
It was
Ginza.
Yeah,
Ginza.
it was Ginza.
Ginza.
Good call.
Yeah.
Yeah, so she's going to the big city in Ginza, right? Ginza, what we just established.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
And as she's like on the train headed to work,
which great callback to the original movie
for sure. Guess who just happens to be taking a stroll on the beach? Godzilla just comes up and fucks up the whole train.
The whole train, the whole city, the whole port.
Dude,
the whole port.
Watching
everything. And I love the way they make him walk. He's got this little sassy kind of like, ooh, and with every step.
It's very reminiscent of Shin Godzilla. The way it's like, when he's in his final form, he's just very stiff
almost
walking.
like this undulation of movement. Like they really do a good job of selling, like, there's a massive amount of beast that has to move in order for him to take a step.
Well, like, going off of like what Mark said earlier, is his evolved form, where he was more prehistoric, and he can, like, you see him moving all his limbs. Like, after him being evolved, he's very stiff, barely moves anything.
Yeah, well, imagine
just, based off of the size he is.
Yeah, imagine gaining like 10,000 tons of body mass, and your bones are just struggling to hold themselves together at that point.
You mean puberty?
Yeah, he hit puberty.
Yeah. No matter how he's placed or where he is, it's just destruction.
Well, and it's one of the things that I love so much about these, because there's so much intention behind animate, because this isn't a guy in a suit anymore.
No, for sure.
As much of like the old school look that this has, it is there's lots of detail to this Godzilla. To quote Jurassic Park, they spared no expense.
They spared no expense. Also, sorry, just a little thing I wanted to ask. I know watching like behind the scenes for the legendary Godzillas, Godzilla and all the other monsters are based off like mocap people. Was this Godzilla based on mocap, or is this straight up just CGI?
I don't know. I would probably be willing to bet that this is probably mostly animated, because I was going to talk about the legendary Godzilla movement real quick. So, first Godzilla, legendary, 2014, do a really good job of kind of showing the lumbering monster, even when they're fighting Mutos. But by the time we're in this new era of Godzilla, I mean, he might as well be Naruto running across the city.
Oh, dude, I was so expecting him to do it in the latest one.
So I want to say with the topic of him,
there we go.
Reducing.
My mic got disconnected.
Oh,
my headphones got disconnected.
Good.
He's Naruto running across a fucking city at this point.
Rancid bitch.
There's no. Sorry, I had a thought that I wanted to finish. There's no level like I'm not saying that Godzilla in the Legendary series doesn't have weight to him, because he does. There is a sense of weight. But when you think about what gravity would do to something like that size and that level of mass on an area, like, it's why I like the Toho movies better, because they were like, no, this is how this creature would move. He wouldn't be sprinting. It's why Godzilla is known for, we know we get into like the silly stuff and like the
gimmicks,
70s,
the drop kick.
Yeah, the drop kick and, being able to fire breath across the sky. But like with these other ones, they really do take time and like, no, this is how this creature would move. Sure, he's not fast, but Godzilla's a long range attack kind of guy,
Yeah.
And I love the way they made him move. Sure, I love the scene when they show in like the top down, just that kind of not full on top down, but above.
Yeah,
almost like you're in a helicopter or you're in a plane, and you have all the little people just running away, and he's just kind of, like slow, like Jason Voorhees walking towards them.
Well, what I loved, a couple of things I really loved about this moment is, one, whenever he stepped and like the pavement would crumble up underneath him, you could see bodies flying too.
Oh, absolutely.
It was very real, because like in the old ones, like I get it, they were always like, oh, evacuate the whole city, and everyone's just gone. And it was just Godzilla destroying a city at that point.
You wouldn't, and everyone's watching from a distant building or a mountain or hill or something. It's not like, you're not. It's one of the things that was kind of cool about the Godzilla 98.
Yeah,
when you had him filming and then get stepped, and then immediately is like, what, we've never actually seen like. Been that close to
exactly
Godzilla. And so that's as much as I don't like that movie, there are a lot of things that I do appreciate that they did.
I'm gonna see if I can get Jeff on when we record that one.
Oh God, why? We have a good thing going.
He loves that movie.
I know.
So the other thing about this specific scene is that I love is, as much as Godzilla does react to things around him, this moment when he's destroying the city, not all of it feels like it's intentional. Like, obviously, he tackles the theater. That he full on hoofed it to the theater.
Very intentional. I was like, what did that theater do to the director?
Right.
What happened?
And then he like starts to notice the people running, so he turns and accidentally takes out a building. And then he's like, oh shit, turns around again, takes out another building, and then
gets frustrated
and just keeps spinning. So like, so much of the destruction was, I'm gonna say, just wrong place, wrong time moments. More so than Godzilla being pissed off at the whole city.
Well, and so, but then you say that, and then we have... So, all right, so one, we've got Noriko that's trying to run away.
Right.
Get away from everything. You have some of the most anxiety-inducing crowd work I've seen in a Godzilla movie.
Hold on, before we move on, we gotta go through what she went through. So she was on the train, which got picked up by Godzilla, like a dog holding a toy in his mouth. But
in his mouth.
The part, like, where she was located on the train was on a dangling portion of the train that half was full of people, just
got ripped away,
plummeted, and there was screaming, and then there was no screaming.
There's no screaming. Dead silent. Except the wind and just kind of the distant screaming of other people. That scene is so well done. And she's just hanging there from the bar, just dangling above the ocean.
That wasn't even the ocean. That was a man-made, like, fountain.
No, it wasn't a fountain.
Okay, it wasn't the ocean. It was
like the bay.
It was body of deep in a body of water.
Big body of water. Yeah, and then she drops and doesn't die, which is great.
Doesn't die, first of all, great. And then the train gets dropped like 10 feet behind her.
Yeah.
And then she's like dripping wet, soaking wet, completely like, I don't think she believes what's happening.
Crowd of people. Yeah, she's still trying to make sense of it.
She is in shell shock. It's like the scene in Saving Private Ryan on the storming of Normandy.
Yeah.
And you just have the dude that's just holding an arm, just looking for who, like, or was it his, like, holding his arm. Like, oh, I dropped my arm. And it's horrific, and just, like, the brain can't, like, she can't comprehend what's happening.
Right. And
then you've got our male lead, our hero, quote unquote hero.
Yeah.
The Kyochi just like running, just like, she went into the city? Why would she do that? Chasing after her to try to stop her, and then all of a sudden he's like, oh no, this is the worst thing that could possibly happen.
And then we get the moment where
they meet.
Oh my god.
Do you have that quick moment where they reunited and they're running away, and then I kid you not, the moment when Godzilla, I wasn't sure, because they teased the Godzilla I call it the Godzilla spine charge up.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, hold on. Let's say that real quick, Brandon.
Okay.
Before we lead up to that, one of the best moments of the fucking movie. You see the crowd all in like despair, fear, running away, and then they hear like what is the tank shots, and they shoot the monster. You can tell like the citizens like, oh hey, we trust our army. Like, oh hey, they got it. All of them stop. They're like, oh hey, it's over. We can relax for a bit.
Yep.
No. Right. Then now, leading up to that,
Godzilla's like, I bet.
Yeah. So I wasn't sure how I was gonna feel about the overall, just kind of seeing like the spine charges up the way I imagine a railgun would charge up. Like, just his spine works like gears almost, in a sense that they're popping out like as a portion of him charges, which is really cool. Now I love it. I think it's so fucking cool the way they did it. I really was I ended up like, I'm not sure about this, and then I see it done, and like in the moment how it works, and it is it's the coolest Godzilla charge up.
Just
singing
everything from the spines loading up like that to the sound of the blast.
Well, all right, so that's the thing. We get to the moment where Godzilla unleashes his atomic breath, and I have never I was like awestruck in the theater when that happened, because there's a lot of commotion, a lot of ruckus happening, and it feels like the theater's kind of shaking, and then all of a sudden it is dead quiet. Like, really sells that Godzilla is the embodiment of the atomic bomb. And
I should have seen this in theaters.
And I, in the theater, full sold out showing of Godzilla, it is dead quiet, and my dumbass is just like, wow, in the theater, out loud.
You just gotta kill yourself, man.
I could not hold it in. I was like, wow. It was so, I had goosebumps all over me. It was so incredible.
And this is where we get to the point where I still don't like that it happened this way.
Why?
Noriko gets fucked up, blown to
death. To lead up to that, okay.
Blown to shit.
No, well, she's not dead.
Bro,
she's not dead. We lose track of her. We don't know where she is, but it is that post kind of nuclear fallout of not knowing.
Look, I'm just saying, there was thousands of pounds of rubble that followed real close behind her. I don't buy that.
But also at the same time, he lived too, and they were right next to each other.
Right, but he had some kind of barrier between him and the and everything else. She was still out in the open.
Well, I mean, like I said, we'll get into it a little bit when we start getting closer and closer to the end of this movie.
Fine.
So we do have the full on, Kyoichi loses. As far as he's concerned, Noriko is dead. And
Noriko is indeed, she is dead. 100% dead.
No, well, he thinks it. And that kind of sets him up for his redemption arc, realizing what he lost and what he was so blinded by his guilt and his shame and anger about kind of his life and just what had happened. He was blinded by what he had until he lost it.
Right.
And when they start getting that whole crew, it's one of those things that I was talking to Jose about this when we were watching the Godzilla 54. When they're doing all the crowd scenes and they're trying to get people like, we need recruits to help us do this, yada, yada, yada.
Yeah.
And I was like, man, it's so cool that they kept this even like throughout all these Godzilla movies. We still have, when it's a disaster film like this, we still have these moments where we're pulling the community together, but it's the first time with one of these movies where I think they do everything that they do in this movie. Sure, there are some new things that we encounter and some cool new ideas, but I wouldn't say any of it's like, it's all an homage in some way, or like paying respects to the Godzilla disaster films that came before. Not the Godzilla hero fighting the monsters, but the Godzilla force of nature.
Right.
And they, this movie does all of that, but in the best way possible. Everything about this, like all the community moments, everybody coming together, everything is sold so well. And I'm not talking just like, oh man, everyone rallied together and it was a great, beautiful moment. Like, you have the Navy captain in there begging, like, look, I know I have asked so much. We have asked as a country, we have asked so much of you already, and I am coming to you to humble myself to please, like, if you can help, and if you don't, there, like, it's a changing of guard in the mentality. There's no longer, this is a great honor to do this and you owe it to, it's the old guard coming back and like, this is unlike anything we've ever faced. This is bigger than everything. I can't, in good faith, ask you to do this and expect you to do this. Take this lightly.
Right.
Yeah. The fact too is that it's, when you say community, it's like it's them. It's just civilians, because the rest of the Japanese forces, I think, when I was watching the movie, were worried about other things, because they say like, we have ships, but they're decommissioned. There's no weaponry on them, and things like that. When it comes to that point, because these were just all civilians that gathered together to try and kill a monster that was terrorizing their country right after a fucking war.
Yeah.
Well, and the fact,
yeah, again, going again, like he was saying, like, I can't ask you, like, you don't have to do this. I get you just came off a war. You may come back, you may not, but I'm pleading with you to come and help.
Yeah, and the fact that he didn't make it a thing, like you said, Brandon. It wasn't about honor anymore. It was about survival.
Mm-hmm.
And he knew that that he could not make any promises. These people were probably not coming back alive, and that's not something you take lightly. Like, at least with war, there's a okay chance that you might make it back alive. When you're going face to face with this thing, there's no coming. Like, there's no.
We're not even guaranteeing that we can. Like, there's that whole moment when they're talking.
Like, just tell us it's going to work.
Like, can this work?
Yeah, tell us that it'll work. And they're, even at that point, they're very real about it. Like, we can't guarantee that this will work.
We can't guarantee this will work, but we have to try. And if we can't, and I will say, so this is kind of the moment. This is the shift between the two, the 54 and -1.
Mm-hmm.
This is that moment where it's like, Noda's been with us practically this entire time. He's like a friend, a comrade, a coworker, and he's one of the. I love his character so much, but watching him, I'm like, what is his age? How old am I supposed to believe that Noda is? Because I'm like, he's grade, but he looks young.
Yeah.
And like, I don't mean like, it's just he just, I don't know.
I was having a hard time with that too.
Like, I'll be honest, Noda is an attractive man. He's got that like kind of like nerdy vibe going.
Yeah.
But he's not like sitting there with like Serizawa in the last one. He's not the eye patch wearing tortured doctor, scientist. Like, right. He's far more composed, but understands what he's asking, but then is also using a lot of logic and coming at like his idea. And he's not cold, but he's not fully warm, but he's just on it. I don't know so I want to talk about kind of the similarities and the difference between Serizawa and Noda's plan. Their choice of attack. So Serizawa, we've got the oxygen destroyer,
right? Which,
as we stated, explodes, goes up, water water somehow rips apart. The lack of oxygen being destroyed rips things apart.
Right. Makes no goddamn sense.
Noda, on the other hand, is like wanting to create this vacuum. Which is kind of taking the idea that Serizawa had, but didn't say it's an oxygen destroyer.
Yeah, he didn't have to make it weird.
It didn't have to be weird at all. And all of a sudden, I'm watching Serizawa's plan. He's like, all right, so we're gonna get Godzilla into this point, and then we're gonna turn all this stuff on, and it's gonna create all of these bubbles, and it's a vacuum, and it's going to send Godzilla down to the lowest point, and then we're going to pin him down there, and he'll never be able to get out unless he is able to get out. And then we reverse the process, and we force him to the surface. And at that point, I was like, you're going to kill Godzilla with the bends?
Well, Angel, even I watched it with Angel last night, and she's saying, so they're just gonna bounce him off the ocean floor, and that's gonna be how they kill him.
Yeah,
and I was like, and at the time I was like, no, that's not what's happening. Like they're gonna make him go all the way to the bottom, and hopefully the pressure crushes him. If that doesn't work, they're gonna
they've got these air tubes around him, and they're
very quickly bounce him back up
down to the bottom.
Yeah, yeah. This one's logic was a little spotty too.
It was a little spotty, but I absolutely love that their plan of attack was, well, we're gonna give Godzilla the bends, and that we'll kill him that way. And so the whole time during that fight scene, that like ending scene, the conflict, and they're like trying to kill Godzilla, all I could think of was the Bends by Radiohead playing in my head.
God damn it!
I don't know that song, so Mark,
I recommend you go check it out.
When you're editing this, listen to the song, and then if you really enjoy it, play this sound. I know that song was great, and if you don't enjoy it, just be like, you know what? Wasn't a huge fan, but we can have different opinions on things.
If you do that, I'm gonna kill you.
What? Do which part?
Any of that?
All of it.
I'm
leaving all that in there.
I don't care. You know what? Do me a favor. Don't listen to Radiohead. I don't need to know. I don't need to know what your opinion is. It's just gonna make me mad.
That's my whole goal.
Yeah, I know.
Okay, I want to say.
So on top of that, while we've got that coming on, so you've got our ragtag group of people. We've got 2 giant naval ships locked and loaded, and then we have. Sorry, all of a sudden I couldn't breathe. I forgot how to breathe. Then all of a sudden we've got Kyochi that's decided he's going on his own journey. And he needs a plane to be the distraction to make sure that this works. And coming back into the scene, into the movie, we have Tachibana, who is angrier than he was before.
To be fair, Koshi made him angry to get his attention.
For sure.
Yeah.
But then at the same time they also go out and find this experimental plane, and
beautiful fucking plane, by the way.
Beautiful plane.
Fucking one of my favorite.
It's a Kyushu J7W Shinden fighter.
So Shikishima shows up on the scene with this experimental plane, and it's just like, all right, guys, y'all done fucked it up. It's my turn. Well, one of the key things about this whole mission is, in order to get this Shinden fighter in the air, Shikishima needs to reach out to Tachibana again. Tachibana was the only other survivor on Oda Island, and Tachibana fucking hates Shikishima. Because he blames him for all of his friends and comrades dying to Godzilla's first attack.
As he should.
And as Shikishima's loading up into the plane to get ready to go out and, sacrifice himself finally.
Well, hold on, but there's also this.
There's a lot more before that.
There's this whole teasing this whole time about, it's a real shame that that we had to ask so much of you and put you in that position, in regards to the kamikaze pilots,
right?
And talking about the value of a life, and it wasn't fair to ask that, and moving forward we should do better,
right?
And then this whole time, all of a sudden, he's made up his mind. He's like, when push comes to shove, I'm gonna go out. I'm doing this the way that I should have done the first time. I'm making sure that my story ends doing what I should have done.
Right. He's going out a hero.
Yeah. And this whole time, we know his thoughts. We know where this is going. He even leaves his daughter behind with Sumiko.
Sumiko.
Yeah.
Sumiko.
Leaves her behind with Sumiko, and a whole bunch of money. All of it, whole little life savings for her.
Take care of my little not daughter.
here you go. There you go.
All right.
Okay. Well, the thing with and when Shikishima leaves Akiko with Sumiko, she knows what's about to happen.
Yeah.
Like, it's not like, hey, did he just bounce? No, it's like, oh god,
oh shit, oh
he's
god,
doing the
Yeah.
thing. And then, like, after she reads his letter, a telegram is delivered. And it's
just the right time, but we don't know.
We don't know what it says.
We don't
Much
know
What it says, yeah.
Much like in Godzilla 54, we don't know what the oxygen destroyer does because we don't see it right now, but we'll see it in a flashback at a later point.
Into the whole little flashback scene from like Wayne's World.
Yeah. And so yeah, we see Shikishima jump on his plane. He's like, all right, let's do this. And he flies out to fight Godzilla on the ocean to keep him distracted long enough for them to get this Freon belt around Godzilla's fat little waist.
His fat fucking little waist.
His
Sex
fucking
boy.
juicy dumper.
Yeah. Ugh.
And
Too far. Too far.
and then, you know, they find he's just, you know, shooting at all angles. Godzilla's
You've got these two destroyers that are trying to make sure they can kind of get around Godzilla, that literally cinch around his waist.
Also, the fact that they passed so closely that they made contact with each other.
They did, which was a great scene.
As somebody that's spent time working on boats, nothing more terrifying than passing that close to a boat.
Also,
Yeah.
I feel it's a disservice to the character, but we have to mention the fact that Mizushima was left behind.
The kid was very unhappy about being left behind. He felt like he should be able to be a part of the crew and fight against Godzilla. And
Yeah, as duty to his country, and also like I didn't get to
Yeah.
fight in the war,
right.
and
But I
You
still
know?
want to serve my country, find a way to do it.
Yeah. And as the Freon
everything's kind of going to plan, but things aren't going. It's Godzilla, so nothing's ever going to go exactly to plan.
Right.
And if it weren't for because of that connection that they had, the two destroyers had, it did damage to them, and they couldn't be as utilized as they had planned to
Right.
be able to force Godzilla back up if things went wrong. And so this is when you got Mizushima coming back in
Well, hold on.
with a whole ragtag group of just a bunch of local fishermen
Hold on.
Yeah.
There is, before we
that are
jump too
tired
far
of eating
up,
all of these dead prehistoric fish.
one thing to note is Godzilla dropping to the bottom of the ocean happened as he was charging up to destroy one of the ships.
Oh, it was such a good scene.
I gotta be honest, watching him go from like super pissed off, glowing, ready to shoot, to completely dark
yeah.
was
Immediately, compressed.
such an amazing moment.
Well, also noted too that we didn't say, which I thought was really clever, that the whole team, and maybe it was Noda, had another battle vessel just as a fucking decoy. So that way Godzilla can shoot out his first atomic bomb, and they're like,
Give it
oh shit, they see the destruction of it, and they're like, okay, maybe we should back out now. Like, no, we gotta go now.
Like,
this
now
our
is the
moment,
time.
Because he takes a while to recharge. This is that perfect moment. And the captain like hesitates for a bit, like, no, okay, we gotta go. Like, we gotta do this.
and then as back to Mizushima showing up with the whole armada of local fishermen and the tugboats and all them, like showing up to save the day. It brings back that sense of community,
That hope.
the hope, the community. Like, this wasn't an enemy that a team was going to take down. This was a team or an enemy that the entire nation needed to come together for. And god damn it, they pulled Godzilla up, and he was all kinds of fucked up.
They thought he would be dead, but obviously, being Godzilla, still had some life in it and was pissed off more than what he was already ramping up another atomic breath.
Yeah. Was he rapidly, like, freezing? Is that what was happening at the end there?
Yeah.
Okay.
It was like rapidly freezing. It was more of because he was surfacing so fast and being on the bottom of the ocean, how far he was, it was like suds. The air was leaving him. What was it?
Okay, so he was decompressing.
He was decompressing fast,
okay,
and at an alarming rate to where it would kill him. Like the oxygen in his blood was leaving. That's what was happening. That's why he was turning white.
And despite all this, he's also charging up another atomic blast.
Also blind, by the way. He was just gonna blindly fire at somebody.
That was a milky-eyed motherfucker. He didn't care who he was shooting. He was just shooting somebody.
He was gonna shoot somebody.
And then Shikishima comes in to save the day. He flies his plane straight into Godzilla's mouth. And
still partially frozen.
Frozen. And sets off the shit ton of explosives that he had Tachibana build into the plane. And then we get that super special flashback of the time that we didn't get to see, but we knew we would get to see later.
One of two flashbacks.
Yep.
I want to interject for a second.
Okay, she's got something to say.
All right, let's hear it.
I completely thought that he would just fly the whole entire plane right into Godzilla, like swallow, chomp, gone, into the stomach. It was a little bit jarring just to see sudden impact not going down the throat, just stuck in mouth.
Oh, yeah.
Stationary.
Oh, yeah.
There was even a
Just
sound
also
effect
too, like the score and everything just stops, like immediate.
The end.
Once again, I mean, this movie really utilizes its score and use of music so incredibly well.
They were saying that was a great thing because like it shows that Godzilla was huge. I agree. The score, bringing back that score that they used from the original movie for this film, was so perfect.
Absolutely, yeah.
Like that heavy.
I mean, we
drum
had
beat.
so many. Yeah, we had the heavy drum beat, and then you had the original score coming in. I mean, so much callbacks to just the long, amazing history of Godzilla music.
Right. And like watching Godzilla, instead of, having his flesh ripped apart on an atomic level, seeing him just kind of like fall apart after having his head blown off was kind of horrible.
This one felt more gruesome. I felt like it.
Felt like what?
Like it was just way more gruesome, but at the same time really interesting because he was, half frozen, somewhat partially frozen, I guess. Where the bombs were and they, exploded, of course, killing off the brain, and since like it's killing off his sense, he's completely dead, and that shows that it's killing off his regeneration ability.
Right.
And you just see him start to decompose, but you also see the blue light of atomic breath, like still releasing places because he was just charging it up, like it had to go somewhere.
Yeah,
which is a really nice detail.
The energy that he had stored up to destroy everything else ended up destroying him from the inside, which I thought was it was a great little touch.
It was a nice touch, yeah.
Very nice. And then they get back to the shore. Everyone's celebrating, high-fiving, group hug in the showers tonight kind of moment. And Sumiko.
Well, hold on. You mentioned that Kyochi didn't die.
Oh, you're right. I'm sorry. We had the flashback moment. I got sidetracked.
Yeah, we had the flashback moment.
Yeah. So
where he was talking with Tachibana about the plane. We have this moment where they're talking. All right, so this is how you do this, and then it kind of fades out. Originally, we don't get to see the whole point of and it's very much, it comes off like two guys are talking about like, hey, are you ready to do this time?
Are you ready to kill
what
yourself?
You have to do? And then all of a sudden we see the flashback of the full conversation, and it's Tachibana showing him a little lever right under the seat that is super important for him to know. there's an ejector seat.
Right,
Also,
because
I want to let y'all know the moment that everybody was cheering that Koshi had the ejection, he was coming down with the parachute. I cried.
for
I,
sure.
I absolutely did too.
I
like,
absolutely cried.
It's the way that they did it. Like Tachibana in that moment is like, look, we have our differences, like, and like, you know what you've done wrong, but you're trying to make amends for it. I gotta be honest with you. I feel like if he wasn't ready to make the commitment to die, I don't think Tachibana would have told him about it.
No, but also too, I feel like
I don't know, because it's also been saying, because he even said like, hey, look, like that there's no sense in another person dying that doesn't have to.
Right.
Yeah, and that was
again
also
going back to the focus of this movie, which really is about the value of life.
I guess I can see it that way. Yeah, that makes sense.
It was also hinted at, not hinted at, but it was said by, I think, Noda. He was saying that too, like all the forces, like the unnecessary death to the kamikaze pilots because the planes didn't have the injection seats, their ejection seats, and then now seeing that,
and Tachibana learned from that.
Like, I get it. You know, you held this guilt with you from not following your duty as a kamikaze pilot to having my men killed. I blame you for that, but you've held so much grief at this point. And he's like, you deserve to live, like, no matter what.
Yeah.
That was a beautiful moment.
And speaking of people who lived,
Mark's favorite part,
we also get to see the other flashback right after Kyochi leaves, that the telegram, it was saying that Noriko is not dead, and that she is in a hospital.
She got a bump on her head and bruised her wrist, but she's fine. All those other people on that street are dead, but no, she made it.
She's not fine.
She's not fine. She's not okay at all, because the last couple moments we see this beautiful moment. Kyochi reunites with Noriko in the hospital, and they're embracing each other, and we're led to believe that this is a happy moment, except for one little thing. Noriko has what appears to be a black bruise that all of a sudden starts moving up her back. And
I don't remember that at all.
Noriko has a black bruise on her back that starts moving and like changing. And people were trying to understand, like, oh, what does this mean? Like, what is that? What is happening? And the director came out and confirmed Noriko is infected with G cells.
Hold on. What?
Yeah.
Yes.
Mark, you didn't watch it? It's like out there in the open.
It's what?
It's like right there. It's the focus point of the whole scene.
I must have missed that. I'm gonna have to go back and rewatch that scene.
And then also, the very ending too, we get another cut to a piece of Godzilla in the ocean
with the beating
his
heart.
Theme song. With the beating heart, and his theme song comes out.
We start seeing Godzilla has Deadpool-like regeneration abilities, which is the most terrifying part of all this. I'm like, well, really good way to explain how he keeps coming back. Also, what the fuck?
Yeah.
But yeah, so we don't know the full extent of what that potentially means moving forward. The director for this movie did say that there are not direct plans immediately to do a sequel to -1. But if he does get the chance to do one, it will take place 3 years in the future of where this story left off. But there will be some sort of involvement of what that black bruise, the G cell, means.
I don't know how I missed this.
And it's one of those Well, it is one of those blink and you miss it kind of things. I totally get how you could have missed it. It's just you're focusing on them, and I kid you not, like it's so subtle. You're like, what's happening with the, like, why are we seeing that bruise on her neck? Like, that's a weird choice. And then it's G cells. It's Godzilla's cells.
Seed.
And we don't know what that means moving forward, but I really hope we get to see what that turns into and what that becomes.
In my head, it immediately went to like how Shin Godzilla was originally supposed to be, like how he's a fungus, like he was evolving, and then he'll become like a humanoid.
So yes and no. It wasn't so much that Godzilla was a fungus, but Godzilla and Shin Godzilla, and we'll, when we get to Shin Godzilla, we'll dive into it. But Godzilla is a pure representation of evolution. And being able to adapt to everything that's thrown at him. So being a sea monster kind of thing, like a little fish, not a little fish, but like a big Godzilla tadpole thing that's kind of flopping about, whatever. And that's, because of latent radiation. I think it's because of the Fukushima reactor. I think that's what it's supposed to kind of be. I don't know directly, and that's what happened. But there is talk about, because of that nuclear reactor that went off the coast, or in that town that affected the ocean water, in Japan.
So
that's kind of what changes Godzilla. But every time human beings throw something at Godzilla and Shin Godzilla, it is a direct relation. It's why, I can't overcome this, so I'm gonna go away, and then he evolves and comes back. And the big point, which is also, the director of Shin Godzilla is the same director for Evangelion.
Right.
And they're all about big themes, deep themes. For like Evangelion had a bunch of deep themes to it, and all other works that he's done is kind of the same way. But with the last shot of Shin Godzilla being these Godzilla humanoids coming out of the tail was more in the sense of, the only way, the next evolutionary step is man.
Yeah.
So that's what that meant. And so clearly these people that are doing these Godzilla movies lately, especially with Shin Godzilla, and then this one being the next one that came out of Toho, there are directors and storytellers that want to do something deeper with Godzilla, and I don't necessarily know if it's I don't necessarily want them to go full body horror Godzilla with it. Like, I don't need that. But in the sense of, I would kind of like it, like if they were going to go forward, I'd kind of like it if she was more like the herald of Godzilla, kind of like the way the twins were for Mothra.
Oh, okay.
Like if it was more of like a psychic link where all of a sudden she could understand Godzilla's pain, and it's, a deeper connect, whatever that connection is, or whatever what it means for those G cells. Or if it just ends up, Godzilla's just deepening like radiation sickness, like Godzilla's presence in the earth is just starting to eat away at it like a virus. And maybe Noriko is patient 0.
We'll just see how the next one will pick up, if it's going to be years after.
There's actually a follow-up to Godzilla that has kind of a similar narrative of a human Godzilla hybrid. It was a manga that came out in 1958. Basically, there's a person that's got Godzilla blood cells. They're trying to achieve immortality, and they end up creating another giant monster.
Oh shit!
Yeah, I'll see if I can find it. I think that'd be a good one to talk about.
Yeah,
it's Kaiju number 8.
That's not.
Hey, maybe that's what Kaiju number.
Not
I was
even...
gonna say no. Maybe that's what Kaiju number 8 was based off of.
I don't know. Kaiju number 8's really good though.
It is really good.
Okay, so now that I know, I didn't realize that had happened there, but yeah. So
that's also my other point of how the 54 in this one's different is because -1 seems like they wanted to do a sequel. 54, maybe if they filmed both movies, but they weren't sure if this one was going to be a hit. Like 54 was going to be a hit, so they kept it like this was a one-off movie.
Right.
That's why that death means something. In -1, I see what you mean, where like her death doesn't mean anything, but now knowing that they may do a sequel, it still will mean something. It's setting up for another movie.
Right. Yeah, I just my only complaint, honestly, is that everything worked out too perfectly. I mean, obviously, yes, we still have the giant, elephant heart in the room, but I mean, like, nobody important died. And to me, that doesn't seem like a good end. Like, that seems like a very clean ending.
I don't know, but like I said, like, this was far more. I mean, there were sure, we didn't have anyone of the main cast die, but I mean, you watch a lot of Godzilla movies, that is very much how it goes. Like, it's not like with like American films where it's like, oh, we gotta kill off a major character to, move the plot along.
We're killing Aunt May.
Like that. There's far more. Godzilla has kind of it falls under a lot of different things, but the main ones are redemption.
Right.
You've got all these people who are seeking redemption or just, have these struggles, like Kyoshi and even Noriko, really, for that matter, have it coming from nothing or losing everything and just, working her way up to even have the chance to go work in the big city.
Right.
And even with Sumiko, lost her kids, lost her family, and ended up having this other kind of family that she got to be a part of and take in, begrudgingly, maybe.
I was about to say the exact same thing, yeah. Maybe
just to be able to make fun of Kyoshi, which she's totally entitled to do. But everybody exits the movie except Noriko, because we have no idea what's going to happen with her. But everybody comes out on top and a better person.
Yeah, I guess you're right.
And, you don't... And that's a lot of Godzilla movies. Like, unless you're like the big bad, or like you don't have a ton of important characters that just die.
Yeah.
Just like, well, we got to kill someone off. Serizawa is one of the few exceptions. We don't start seeing big characters die in the movies until the Millennium era of Godzilla, because the drama gets amplified. It's a new a new era of Godzilla. Like, filmmaking's done differently. There's bigger budgets, there's more special effects and crazy stories that they can tell,
yeah,
but
honestly, I enjoyed it a lot.
I'm gonna be honest, this is like, I have so many Godzilla movies that I love, but I love the 54 movie, but this movie, it does what the 54 movie also sets out to do. Sure, you lose the Oppenheimer twist, the kind of allegory that's there. There's not so much turmoil in the decision of a single individual.
Right.
But that that turmoil's transferred onto a different person from a different perspective of the same war. And the outcomes are different. But that, for me, like, watching this movie, like there's some downtime, you know, you're eating dinner and in their house, and just kind of like there's moments, slice of life moments, but then they don't stay too long and you're right back in it. Like, things are happening, it's moving. It's a beautiful movie to look at. And I love the pacing of it. I love everything about it, and why it was wildly entertained. I will say, my second time watching this, I was super excited. I got to see it in black and white. There was a single caveat, though, to my movie watching experience.
Yeah.
The only way that I could watch it, the only showing that they had, was in those fucking dynamic seats.
Oh. God, that sucks.
And I did not realize I'd never done one of those before. I was like, oh, it's like a vibrating seat or something, you know, but no, it's the full 4D. So, like, as soon as, like, there's water scenes happening, I have water being sprayed in my face.
Oh, no.
And I am literally, like, strapped into my seat. Like, I'm on a I can't even remember. I don't think there wasn't a seatbelt. I was being tossed around in that fucking seat like I was on a fucking roller coaster. And my dumbass went and got a normal moviegoer would do. I went and got a beer and a popcorn beforehand. I had to chug that beer so fast because it would have been gone. Like, I was being whipped around in my seat every which way. Watching it. So I was super excited to see it in black and white, and then I was like, that's just my penance. That's what I get for wanting to see this in black and white. I have to see it in this this shitty roller coaster motion simulator. I will say, though, the seat was really cool when the atomic breath went off for the first time.
I was just gonna say that this part.
It goes off, and the seat just starts rumbling and everything. And right as he's like building up, and as the from the spines, my seat's like literally moving to the pulse of it happening. And then right as the atomic breath goes off, my seat goes dead, just stops all movement. And I was like, holy shit. And then right as the sound kicks in, just seat moving and going crazy. I'm like, God, Jesus fucking Christ.
That's crazy.
Oh, don't do 4D seats.
Okay, is that what you're saying?
I'm saying don't do that.
I thoroughly enjoyed this. I think this Godzilla design is by far my favorite that I've seen so far. Just the more, like, you know, he walking around like a thick bitch. But also at the same time, he does still move kind of like a dinosaur.
Oh, for sure.
So overall, I think so far is my favorite one of the Godzilla movies I've seen.
I will say, like, I love the campy, fun ones, but as far as like a true, like,
a horror
Godzilla, like horror, yes. This, and I'm saying that I love Shin Godzilla. I love that movie so very much. It does so many cool things. But this, for me, but the problem I have with Shin Godzilla is Shin Godzilla very much feels like overkill. Like, but the human moments in Shin Godzilla aren't. So you've got the crazy over-the-top monster shit, and then you have the human stuff, which is all wonderful. And
yeah.
But this is the perfect balance between both of them. Is
I guess
all the horror, all the human elements, that it all cohesively works as a story. And if I'm looking for like something that truly pays homage, but tells an original story that makes you feel, as like the 54 Godzilla. I mean, Godzilla -1 is peak Godzilla.
Oh,
perfection.
Absolutely. There's no doubt about that. Yeah, since y'all said y'all's favorite, I know I might get some backlash for this one. The Legendary King of Monsters one is by far my favorite right now.
It's really good.
I'll say it's a lot of fun.
It's a fun
for it not being
movie.
like not being like a Japanese.
I love the Legendary ones.
Still good.
I love that we get to live in a timeline where we get both Toho and America both making Godzilla movies.
Well, and not even just like making the same
good American Godzilla movies at that.
And Toho is being a little bit more experimental with theirs now too.
Yeah.
Which I will say though, I know you say that like, oh, Toho plays it real conservative, They've always been willing to embrace the weird. And let me tell you, we're gonna get into fucking weird ass territory. So we've started with 2 of the quintessential Godzilla movies. I think the only thing that might rival this as far as overall tone is going to be the 1984 Godzilla movie.
The Return of Godzilla?
Which is meant to be a direct sequel to the first Godzilla movie.
Right, this is when we start getting into all the timeline reboots and shit.
Yeah, we get into weird stuff. We also see the return of Raymond Burr from the American Godzilla.
Yeah.
In 84. But yeah, we're gonna, other than that though, I mean the Millennium stuff gets pretty heady. It gets a little serious.
Yeah.
It was a little melodrama.
It was the early 2000s. Everyone was trying to do that gritty reboot thing anyway.
I mean, yes, but they still did it in their own way. It honest to God, I mean, what those Godzilla movies come off as is like when serious shit happens in Power Rangers. You're like, oh wow, they're getting real serious with Power Rangers right now.
Hey man, you don't talk bad about my Power Rangers.
I'm not talking bad about Power Rangers.
No, I'm just fucking with you. No, I agree. It is very it's cringy serious. That's what it is.
Oh, especially when you get to Final Wars, but it is just like it's like a punk rock video pretty much.
Yeah.
And I'm not just saying that because Sum 41 is featured in the credits and has a song that plays a lot.
Also, I am really happy that this version of Godzilla doesn't do like the whole like American music soundtrack,
How so?
Well, like, okay, like I don't remember if Legendary does this or not, but like, how for a while we were getting every big blockbuster of the summer was getting whatever the latest fucking like popular music was. So like, for example, Transformers 2007, we got Linkin Park
thing?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I'm glad that they're not commercializing this Godzilla.
Yeah.
As the Toho or the Legendary?
Toho.
Oh, okay.
Well, I mean, the closest that Toho ever got was they had Sum 41.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying.
But even then, it's one of those, you're like, Sum 41 wasn't even big anymore at that point. But it's Sum 41, and Final Wars has, yeah.
All right.
Final Wars is essentially Final Fantasy meets Godzilla.
So it's Kingdom Hearts with Godzilla
That's
characters?
Cool.
Yes, it's absolutely bonkers. There is an American who looks like Ron Swanson, who wears a brown trench coat and carries the largest katana you've ever seen.
Oh, fuck. No shit?
Yes, dead ass. And then there's also aliens that are essentially all Neo from the Matrix. All in black leather jackets and everything.
That's fucking cool.
It's the most obnoxious of the Godzilla movies, and it's so fucking fun.
Oh my god, that's... Okay, hold on. You can't just say the guy looks like Ron Swanson. That's Don Fry. He was the world champion martial artist.
Oh, was he?
I think, if I remember right, his nickname was the Predator.
That is not a good nickname to have.
It was back in the 90s.
You know, before predators were really a thing we had to worry about. Nobody was preyed upon in the 90s.
Exactly. But yeah, basically, like, this is the motherfucker. He beat the shit out of people. That was his job.
That's cool.
So he like what, goes up and boxes against Godzilla, just punches him in the face?
No. No, that doesn't happen. But we
Brandon's like, oh, they should have.
We do get the weirdest version of King Ghidorah
In Final Wars?
Oh, what is
Final Wars?
Oh,
Kaiser.
yeah,
Kaiser.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, Kaiser Ghidorah. Gigan is crazy cool, but it's also weird. There's this Dragonborn level psychic connection, shadow boxing, weird shit that happens with the male main character and Godzilla, because the main male character is actually part alien from these aliens that are coming, and he's also a Kaiser, and like has this connection to the monsters like the main bad guy has to Kaiser, Ghidorah, and Gigan. It's the strangest thing. The strangest. But yeah, did you look at the pictures of Ghidorah?
Yeah.
Kaiser Ghidorah? It is the most Power Rangers looking thing.
It's a centaur.
What?
It's a centaur.
I don't know if we're looking at the same picture.
No.
Is it because he has a tail?
He has 2 sets of legs.
No, oh, you're looking at his final form.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a different one.
No, you're talking about Monster X, yeah. He is. They do look like something straight out of Power Rangers.
Yeah, I'm talking about the silver suit.
Yeah.
Kaiser.
Yeah, I'm looking at it right now.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. But yeah, the 4 legs. It's such a weird version of Ghidorah.
Yeah.
Hey, chunky.